few sliders here. Characters is the number of characters that are. So if I increase these characters, you'll see that the whole thing is getting revealed. So you just stop wherever the characters are. ये भी ना जाने वो भी ना जाने नैनों के रंग नैना जाने मिला जो संग तेरा उड़ा पतंग मेरा हवा में होके मलंग जग की कोई रीत न जानी मैं तो बस तेरी हुई दीवानी मिला जो संग तेरा उड़ा पतंग मेरा हवा में होके मलंग मैं छोड़ाई हर बार मेरा ओ मखना वे मखना अब तू ही है संसार मेरा ओ मखना वे मखना ये पागल सा है प्यार मेरा ओ मखना वे मखना मैं छोड़ाई हर बार मेरा ओ मखना. Okay, I can continue singing forever and this will become a problem. So good morning, welcome back to the weekly khud. This is 20th February 2023, 8:54 a.m. and we've officially entered the next week. Today I'm documenting the previous week. Is the focus a little too dark? The light a little too dark. I can probably make it a little lighter. Just a little. In this video I have 3 main points to cover. I'll just write the second one. Premiere Pro, After Effects, Instability, Vinci, Unfamiliarity, and it's basically got to do with the dynamic link instability and Vinci Unfamiliarity. Second is a little bit about Premiere Mogarts, and third is weekend full-time job work and 3 leaves in this week, the coming week for dad's work. So I'm going to start with the first point. So as I said even in the previous vlog, actually, as a matter of fact, I'm exactly where I was in the last week's vlog as far as the situation is concerned, because the last week's vlog I said because Prathamesh from my team is on leave, I was working that week, the whole week for the full-time job, and this week also, the entire week he was on leave. All I did the entire week was full-time job work. After a long time, I got to just do Premiere, After Effects, Audition, Photoshop, Illustrator work, and it was fun. I'm not gonna say it wasn't fun. Like, there's a lot that I learned and I will go through all of that, but it even extended till the weekend, which is the third point I'm gonna talk about. If I go through 14th February, I'm writing about Monday here, starting off managing a bunch of tasks, allocating them within the team, progress with making an editor required, importing a Premiere sequence into Audition. That way you have your tracks as all those tracks in Audition, exporting the music mix down back into After Effects, testing the animation, and with a beautiful character animation where for the first time I made very realistic eye blinks with frame by frame animation. I actually want to show this. So the thing that I'm talking about is, I'll just let this video play. Flowers come in, all this is fine with basic Dweck rigs for hand and stuff. This last part, you see the eye blink is like a proper eye blink. It's not just an ellipse and then there is a cover on top of it. That's how I would normally do. But if you see here, the eyes are blinking and there are 4 frames, proper frames that I drew, single frame. So there's one thing that was really messed up though. So I decided to do legs on Monday. Usually I don't do legs on Monday, but what happened is on Sunday, as I had gone for my regular run, after my run, at least for a day or two, my hip flexors are usually tight, even if I stretch in the evening and the morning the way I normally do. So with those tight hamstrings, I did legs on Monday. I'm just like trying to switch things up, and that really did not work well for me. And I tried doing heavy squats, so I was at 25 kilograms with the bar weighing 20, so almost 70 kilograms of squat I was doing. And while I was coming back, I could feel like a huge cramp in my left hip flexor, and that's when I was like, okay, wait, we've done something wrong. So I put the bar down and I continued my leg workout on Monday. So I did hamstrings and glutes and all that other stuff, but I could feel like I've done some form of damage. And from that point on till today, the first couple of days were very tough. I was finding even difficult to move. That's how sore my hip flexors were, both of them, the left one specifically. But I've been doing the massager every single morning with my stretching before the Amrit Vela part. I'm now back to, I would say, 70% normalcy, still there is like 30% of soreness when I'm trying to do like a deep squat. That one wrong step of not, and even in that squat, even in that leg workout on Monday, I did not do a very comprehensive workout warm up before starting, which is one very big mistake. Is I want to make sure that every workout that I do, no matter what, I'm going to start it with a body pump warm up track, because this gets the whole body into the motion and feel for workout, which I did not do that day. 16:02 I'm running, done. I am done with this Premiere After Effects nonsense. I'm switching to DaVinci for good. So I was trying to work on a few edits for the full-time job, and one of the edits required tracking text onto the footage. There is no built-in way inside Premiere except for like manual keyframes on position, rotation and stuff. But inside After Effects you probably can, and that also doesn't work most of the time. So you edit your footage, you put the footage on your timeline, and then you have to go through that stupid process of right-clicking and sending those clips into After Effects, which is such a mess. Dynamic link is one reason why a creator like myself would want to stick to Adobe, and Adobe does not work on dynamic link to the point that it is not just not very efficient, it is downright crap. If Adobe you're listening to this, please don't update any of your softwares for the next 10 years, but make Adobe Dynamic Link stable as a mountain, and I will pay your subscription perpetually, which I'm anyway have to do because I'm like helpless, but I'll be happy to pay in that scenario. But anyway, that was a little bit of a rant there. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna just figure DaVinci on my way, and I started doing things in DaVinci. But again, that's where the unfamiliarity comes. There's so much familiarity with Premiere and After Effects and using these softwares for the past 5.5 years now, that you just know how to navigate. And what happens is, in the full-time job situation, when things come to me, they usually come in a way, oh my god, this is very, very priority, we need it by 3 p.m. or whatever time. It's always like a time-bound thing. So within that time-bound thing, I cannot be like, I'm going to experiment with a new software and try and get familiar with it while trying to work. So I need some form of stable backup, which I know will get the job done. And then when I'm free and I want to work on normal like passion projects and stuff, then I can use DaVinci to learn. As the week progressed, I kind of changed my mindset yet again, where I felt like, you know what, dynamic link is the problem, right? We will not use dynamic link only. We'll just make things in Premiere, or we'll make things in After Effects. The way we tackle that is for very small things like adding text and text animations. I've started making Mogarts, which acts as a very good segue into our second point, Premiere Mogarts. So I made a few Mogarts inside Premiere through the week that I feel are really very powerful, because a lot of the times for adding text animations on very simple videos, I had to go and actually let me open. Yeah, this is so bad. The new UI for Premiere sucks. Like, you have to make so many clicks to get to like an actual working project. Go freaking away, Premiere Pro. So what I want to show is a bunch of Mogarts that I made, and they're in my libraries. So word ramp, center line. So I'm just gonna drag and drop this here. Okay, this is a sample text and a second line. So what are the features that this Mogart has? Obviously you can change the text and everything. I'm not going to go to the very basic stuff, but importantly here, this animation, which is ramping up opacity, you could do this based on characters. So now this is now this is happening based on characters. You can do this based on words. Okay, so now words, and you can change the position and scale, and you can change the fill color obviously. Now one thing that I haven't added here is kind of like animation controls, which I think I probably need to add, that I have done for the procedural typewriter. So by animation controls, I mean this is happening in exactly 1 second or 30 frames. There is no way for me to adjust the timing or the duration of it, which with the help of a few sliders can be done. So this is one thing that I have worked on. Mogart that I worked on is this procedural typewriter. So I've made an entire video on my YouTube channel where I say how to make this procedural typewriter, where you have this blinking effect happening, right? So you can come in here and type in anything you want, and let me just make it this way. So now this will go in here, and now what happens is, let's say I increase the number of words, inthekhud becomes weekly khud. Now what happens is here, this is the number of, depending on the number of characters, correct? So I'm going to make this smaller, and you have this a few sliders here. Characters is the number of characters that are. So if I increase these characters, you'll see that the whole thing is getting revealed. So you just stop wherever the characters are. Now you are revealing the whole thing, and it's also continuously blinking. what is more interesting is you can change the duration it takes for the reveal to happen. So currently it is revealing in 1 second, which is like a little fast. So I can make it 3 seconds. So now it will take 3 seconds for this whole thing to type in. And this is what I meant by and like animation control. I want to add that even for the text animations, because a lot of the times you want to sync things up with the audio or music. So this slows things down. If you want, you can even make it even slower. So this is going to take 5 seconds to come on. So this I feel is an extremely helpful Mogart that I've made, and I'm not going to go into the After Effects project for this. I'll probably make a separate video on that. So I think that covers up Premiere Mogarts. Is there anything else I have to cover here? I don't think so. Yeah, jumping to the final point, weekend full-time job work, 3 leaves that work. So because the whole week was anyway going down the drain of full-time job, and I could sense that, like, might as well go to the office as well, because I have to admit that going to office is more of a recreational activity because it's not as much of a recreation, because you do sit and work there, you don't just do time pass, but interacting with people, especially for me, like the last time before the pandemic happened, when college was going on and Les Mills was on, so at that point my communication skills and interacting with people, everything had like peaked, as in I was so familiar, comfortable and efficient at talking to people and social stuff. But since 2020, since the pandemic has happened, since I've only been confined to inthekhud, it feels good to like go out and talk to people, especially people I've been working with day in and day out. The point I was trying to come to is I went to office on this Thursday as well, and there the founder, he requested me that there is this pitch that they are working towards, which is today, Monday at 3 p.m. But the designs for this video that they wanted wouldn't be ready by Saturday. So he requested, can you please work on the weekend? You can take leaves during the week if you want. I told him, look, I have dad's work to figure during the weekend, but I can accommodate for that. And I said yes, because obviously if he's requesting me, I'm not going to be like, no, I can't. So I worked over the weekend and I made a very beautiful video. Actually, I made 4 videos for that pitch, and I don't want to go through every video here. So I will show this video though, which I made. So this video I started working on, like I got the slates, Photoshop slates, Saturday around 11:30 a.m. and I had completed the video completely with sound design and everything, which, should I play sound?
We're sitting on the hot seat of a new era, waiting for it to unfold. We've entered the metaverse, found life on Mars, built technology to fight global warming, and even have something called a robot dog, and so much more. Everything's evolving. But the way we shop? Why hasn't that changed through the years? Enter Flash, the world's first shopping identity. With this shopping identity, you enter the future of shopping, where you earn while you shop, track all your orders from one place, get insights into how much and where you've saved versus spent your money. This way, you get closer to your financial goals. Declutter your personal life and emails, because every shopping experience is now stored in one place. Being rewarded for shopping is truly the only way it should be done. It's time to experience the future of shopping. Build your shopping identity only on the Flash app.
So far, the best work I've done, and you could argue that I've done some work in the past which is better, but the reason I say objectively, because at any point in time when I put in a lot of time and effort into making a video like this, it is like a compounded result of all my previous years of effort and learning and hard work, which has come into this. And the thing with working with this agency that has worked really well for me is it is always a time bound situation. Like I'm only given a very limited amount of time to make something, and I'm expected to do the best that I possibly can, and I wouldn't want to settle for anything less than the best that I possibly can anyway. So what I've gotten really good at is efficiency. So making my own scripts, and my workflow with After Effects now is so streamlined that like I quadruple on the efficiency which is required to make something. I would just go through the fact that this initial part is an entire 3D animation from here to here, and for the storyboarding I was just given 2 frames. The entire design part I just used it as reference, as like a starting point. Okay, so I'm going to show you the Blender project for that. And on the left side you see the camera, on the right side is my viewport with solid shading. Both these models, the car and the VR headset, I have not modeled. I got it from Turbo Squid. So this light engine starting, and that glitch is happening inside After Effects. A very important thing here is the camera movement is happening through CG boosts method of tracking on path, right? So I have this path here and the camera is tracking to that path, and it comes here, the car doors shut. From here the influence changes to another path, and the viewport and render visibility of the car is gone and of the headset is on. And again, for this, it's very easy when you have like a path and you can just adjust its vertices such that you are entering into this frame now. So I rendered this out in cycles at I think 64 samples, max sample 64, lights 6, reflective. I just try to keep it very minimum, and it took me like 41 minutes to render out. There's an HDRI for the lighting. I haven't done any sort of lighting here. It's just very basic stuff. 41 minutes to render out 225 frames, which is, considering it's a very, very simple scene, it is very slow, but we know that the graphic card is not up to the mark. And I also tried to do a bit of After Effects while it was doing the rendering, and the rendering stopped. It says GPU out of memory. That is one definite drawback, inability we have right now to not be able to render things fast. And then after this 3D animation happens, here there is just a bit of masking. And yeah, I want to say that with After Effects 2023, finally one thing is good, that you have the track matte as a parent and link thing, and so you don't have to worry about having that layer right above the layer in order to matte. You can just pick whip, and then that's why I'm a lot more comfortable with just inverting mattes and doing matte stuff inside After Effects now. There's this matte and like a overlay on top of it. Now one amazing thing about this whole video is match cuts. So if you see, there are so many match cuts in this, and this match cut situation is, I think, what really sets you aside as a like an intermediate or a good motion designer, because match cuts just look so much professional. Like you see this, like this, the zoom out, whatever you call it, those match cuts really add a lot of dynamism to the video. And then over here I had to spend a lot of time inside Photoshop trying to see, okay, these have to be separate Illustrator files so that I can bring them as layers and all that stuff. And then this is like a 3D phone mock-up that I have been using it inside After Effects. No Blender there. Yeah, that was the last thing I had to cover. I was working on this on the entire weekend. Yesterday night I sent this video with a music option, so 2 of these videos and 3 more reels, as I said. And there hasn't been any feedback yet. If there is any feedback, we'll address it post the nap. The last thing I want to talk about is today itself I will put an email saying that I need to be on leave from Wednesday to Friday of this week, because anyway I had discussed with the founder that I'll be taking a leave during the week for compensation of working over the weekend. And also in the month of February I haven't taken a single leave as of now. I can take 2 leaves every single month. This is absolutely essential for me, because that 70 episode lot that I've been talking about for a month now of show 1 is something that really, and I mean it, really needs to be finished before the end of this month. 5 days at a stretch I will be able to 100% complete that lot, all the other things that are pending for Dad's work, so that before going into March I am on par with Dad's work. And then the situation is such that I have to just give like maybe a couple of days or more, 3 or 4 days more or less in the month, and Dad's work is sorted. And then I can figure out what I can do with 3D and all my stuff, which I've been waiting for since I think November now, which is the video, just figure out the date of a wake-up call, whenever that video was. So 3-4 months of struggle is now coming to an end finally, but post these 5 days of work. So this is going to be the last marathon sprint, whatever. Yeah, I'm feeling very dizzy at the moment because I've been up since 4 today. This video I initially thought I will just edit it and upload it, but it's not going to happen. So I'm going to stop recording now. Thanks so much for being in the weekly khud. I will catch you next week. Peace.